Hey everyone, welcome back to our Greg's Restorations YouTube channel. We are going over this 1984 Toyota factory four-wheel drive Sunrader camper. The truck is owned by a gentleman named Nick. He purchased the truck back in 2020. He's owned it for a few years. He bought it from New Jersey. He knew what he had, and this truck needed to be restored to its full potential. It just couldn't go to any particular person because it needed to be preserved due to the rarity of this vehicle. From my sources, there are only 17 known to existence factory four-wheel drive campers in this generation pickup 1984 to 1988. I don't think they made that many of them. I don't have an exact number on that. Some of the other people might. I'm guessing they made about 50 factory four-wheel drive campers. I mean, it's been over 30 years since these trucks were in production, so the biggest downfall of these trucks is they're, wood floor, wood walls with a fiberglass overlay. If the fiberglass gets wrecked or the wood rots out, they're toast. And these trucks also rusted out pretty good when they were, 10 years old. So this vehicle is still sporting the factory drivetrain. It's got a 1984 22R. It's not the EFI model. EFI engines didn't come out until 1985. 1985 was also the last year of the solid axle, first year of the EFI. So this just made the cuff. It would have been cool if it had that engine in it, but a lot of people like these earlier engines because they're more bulletproof, they rev higher, they're more torquey. They have their pros and cons. This engine has just over 81,000 miles on it. I do not believe it's been rebuilt. We've never done anything with it except for do basic tune-ups. We installed a LC header. We built a custom exhaust for it that was eventually ceramic coated as well. It's not a powerhouse by any means, but it gets out of its own way. We've been having it up to 65 miles an hour. It's kind of like a kite. It's not very aerodynamic at all, and it doesn't break records on the road, but I mean, we're driving down the road right now at 50 miles an hour, and it's driving comfortably. Also, the customer has taken it cross country. He put 6,000 miles on it before we did the restoration. He took it to British Columbia and back, snowboarding for the winter. It made it there and back, no problems. It needed a little bit of work when it came back, so we ended up biting the bullet and doing all the mechanical maintenance it needed on it and restoring the body. The fiberglass body was the worst part of the vehicle. It had some blemishes, and it had a factory blemish in the door that needed to be fixed. That was a factory flaw. It had stress cracks. It had, chips and dings. So the roof was starting to leak. All the weather stripping was starting to go. The front fenders started to show some rust, as well as the hood. The problem with these things is they sit. They're never stored inside, and they're driven once a year, so they tend to rust out. Luckily, this thing was a good candidate for restoration, and we get to restore it for many years to come. So this vehicle was restored to the factory paint color. 033 is the factory paint code. I know a lot of you guys are going to be asking what the color is. It's like a cream white. It's not too bold, but it's a really nice classic 80s Toyota color. The fiberglass body was a different color because I believe they were painted at two different times, but we ended up doing a color match on the fiberglass body to the cab. So on the chassis of the truck, since it's going to be kind of a winter adventure truck, stored the whole chassis, everything was wire wheeled down and prepped in POR 15. We also did a black fluid film coating over that to even make this truck even last longer. We were able to do some research and find brand new factory mirrors for these, and we restored the mirror arms. All the weather stripping was done in the cab. One of the cool little features, we added a factory Toyota windshield decal above the windshield. It still has the factory dash that is uncracked. Usually every one of these trucks that comes in, the dash is cracked. Now the interior of this thing is awesome. It's got the big comfy seats as we're sitting on. If you want to go cross country in this thing, it's a comfortable ride. I know the previous owner of this truck actually got in contact with us because he found out that we were restoring it. Hence, because it's so rare that, we're the only people that really have one right now. That was one of his comments, was not to get rid of the seats because they were so comfortable. One of the things that we upgraded on this camper was we added 2 roof exhaust fans. everybody knows that mice and all sorts of different kind of rodents love to live inside these things. So we added a mouse blocker in to keep them out. Upgraded the rear taillights on this truck. The original ones were all falling apart, and somebody had put some wood on there to kind of hold them on. So we actually made a nice custom plastic panel to cover up the old hole, and we added a nice steel grille to kind of give it like a rugged off-road look. There's all the marker lights on this truck were replaced with brand new ones. They're all new old stock. I had to end up ordering them from 5 different vendors to get all the little cab marker lights. I remember when we were in the office, my office guy kept asking, where are these all coming from? So I had to order them from different sources because they only had 1 here, 3 there. All the exterior marker lights are pretty much the last known to existence on this. This truck's running some BF Goodrich all-terrains on factory wheels. The factory wheels were sanded and painted by us. They had some chips and surface rust, and you know, we're doing the restoration on this truck, so we painted them and made them look nice and presentable. This vehicle has no lift. This is the factory height that the vehicle was brought to us in. It could be replaced, but you know, it rides nice. It sits at a good stance. So eventually the customer plans on doing a engine swap of some kind. We want to keep it to its original core because this truck came with this factory engine option. We don't want to put a V8 in it or anything like that, but we'd like to have maybe like a stroker 22R put in it. One of our previous builds we did on a 1982 Toyota pickup, we put a LCE supercharged engine in with Hull EFI. Really cool to drive that truck. Also check out one of our previous YouTube videos on that vehicle. It is a wild little rocket ship, that thing. It's insane. One of the key features why we got this job is our highlight to fame with the 1985 Toyota pickup from Back to the Future. All the high-end Toyota clients are coming to us for our notoriety with these mini pickups. Tacozilla was just released at 2021's SEMA show. I was actually there attending the show and actually ended up talking to the guys at the Toyota booth about our camper and what we were working on. That truck is based off of this. This is like its grandfather, I would say. One of my favorite things about this project is the factory decals. It makes it. When we had the original truck come down, you saw the decals on it. They were just faded. Some of them were missing. They were, you know, just showing their age as the truck was. And having the new decals on it makes it pop. It just screams 80s. One of the cool things we did today was we ended up chasing down the Central Massachusetts Railroad. I've always wanted to get a picture with a vehicle that we did with one of our restorations, the train going by in the background. It's just kind of like the coolest thing. I saw a video, I believe a little while back, I think Rough Country had an ad out and they had a train going by a truck or something like that, and it was cool. So we tried to do something different and kind of show off like where my shop is. We're located in Central Massachusetts, so just trying to highlight where we live, and it's kind of a cool area. We're going to be debuting this truck at our 5th annual car show and swap meet in Barre, Mass. We usually have a big display there of all of the classic Toyotas that we work on. This is going to be we're going to blow it out of the park with this one. Everywhere we go with this truck, everybody has something to say. Everybody's asking, is it for sale? Where did you get it? Wow, that thing's cool. I've never seen anything like this. We actually went to the Quabbin Reservoir today, and they have a nice state park there. We stopped, and some Park and Recs guys came, and they were hanging out with us for about a half hour, just talking with us about it and wanted to know every single thing about it. Well, this wraps up our video on this 1984 Sunrader camper. Check out our other Toyota restoration builds. You can also check us out on the web at our new website, gregstoyotarestorations.com.